Welcome back to the Buffalo Blitz right here on the Built in Buffalo Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter network. I am your host, Peter DiBiase, and this is the Buffalo Blitz. I'm trying to get this on Facebook. For some reason, it's not letting me go on Facebook and do its thing, but all good. No worries. This is the Buffalo Blitz right here on the Built in Buffalo Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter network. I'm your host, DiBiase Peter. And we're going to be breaking down some of the free agents that the Bills have on the defensive side of the ball. We all know Tremaine Edmunds, Jordan Poyer, but we also got Shaq Lawson, Dane Jackson, and Jordan Phillips as some other ones. So we're going to see what happens here. As, of course, I get a nice alert that says Facebook doesn't let us stream tonight. So that is awesome. We're having trouble streaming to Facebook. This may be an issue on Facebook end. It is possible the stream was ended or deleted. Thank you, Facebook, so much. Awesome. But we're going to keep going best we can, and we're going to bring on my guest, Adam, primetime Adam. Adam, how are we doing tonight, my man?
Living the dream. Really missing Bills football, as we all are. The slow drip of content is officially upon us. It's the offseason. But life's good. It's beautiful and warm here in Arizona. Praying for everyone who's dealing with some cold weather back home. But it's always good to hang out with Peter on Wednesday.
Yeah, and appreciate you coming on. Built in Buffalo Facebook network is currently down, but all good, all good. Adam, where can everyone find your content, your writing, your social media, all that fun stuff?
Yeah, so on Twitter, you can find me at Primetime Adam for my lukewarm Bills takes. Feel free to follow me there. And then I work with A to Z Sports. I'm a Buffalo writer for them. So you can find my content at atozsports.com/Buffalo. And then search my name, Adam, for, again, more lukewarm takes on the Buffalo Bills.
Yeah, lukewarm take. I like how you put that there. Roy Collins is coming in. That's the metaverse for you. Yeah.
Facebook getting us down, man. It's a day that ends in Y.
And it's not like I knew it was happening. I go on Facebook because I'm supposed to share everything, right? Like I share we have 15 chats or whatever, right? So people can watch. And Facebook, Adam, you know from Built in Buffalo days, is our biggest. YouTube is almost at 1,000 subscribers. We're getting good on YouTube. We're getting back to YouTube. Twitter's whatever, right? Facebook, we're almost at 100,000 followers. So Facebook's our big. If one thing's gonna go, it's always Facebook, and it's the most annoying thing because that's where we get our most. Obviously, listeners, comments, streaming platforms. Like last episode, over like 2,000 views.
That's why our YouTube followers today are the GOAT. Those are the real kings of the day.
Yeah. If not, it's just gonna be you and me talking to each other. It's like a podcast that will be posted. Oh no, we're on Facebook. We're on Facebook. Facebook just went live now. Okay. So Adam, I'm gonna let you you're gonna have to talk a little while I share it on my phone. So I'm gonna start with you. We're gonna start with Tremaine Edmunds. Anybody that's just tuning in on Facebook, awesome. For the first 4 minutes, no idea where you were. Who cares? I don't know. So my bad, you missed 4 minutes of Adam and I talking about nothing. Tremaine Edmunds. So obviously Tremaine Edmunds is tied with Jordan Poyer for the biggest free agent on the Buffalo Bills roster from this past season. So I'm going to start with you with Tremaine Edmunds. Before we dive everything, are we keeping him? Are we letting him go? And then we can break it down.
I think that we're going to maybe price ourselves out a little bit there. I know that Brandon Beane can and has done some wizardry, especially in the past. Like the most recent one that comes to mind is his contract for Milano. I remember that was a little bit below the market average. So Beane does have some wizardry in him. I just can't see the Bills being able to come up with the cash needed to sign Edmunds. I know a couple numbers were roaming around. I did a quick Google search, and it's saying that his projected contract is going to be 3 years, $45.75 million. I think that number is going to be much higher. After Roquan Smith signed, $20 million a year. Yeah. I don't think Tremaine's going to get $20 million a year, but I think he's going to be towards the higher end of $15 to $17 million a year. I love the player. He's a 100 tackle a season guy. He's the leader on the defense. He came to us when he was just a little baby and has gotten a Pro Bowl and I believe an All-Pro under his belt. So the dude's just the leader on the football field. He's a monster on there. He's going to be missed. I would love to have him back. I just don't know if the Bills can do it.
I completely disagree with you, which is awesome.
Let's go.
I think, and I feel like you and I you've been on my show multiple times.
Yep.
I feel like we usually agree with most things.
We're both Tremaine Edmunds fans. First and foremost, I don't.
Well,
I don't
I guess what you're saying.
Play with us. I don't think he's going to leave because he's not a good player. We're just going to say, "Oh, go."
Thinking back to it now, I don't fully disagree with you, but like I don't fully agree with you. Like you want Tremaine Edmunds to be a Buffalo Bill. You're not one of those people that says, "Oh, if even for $10 million for a year, I wouldn't take Tremaine Edmunds."
I'm not unreasonable.
No, I still think Tremaine Edmunds. I've said this so many times. I'm dying on this hill. This is like my one thing I'm dying on. One hill I'm dying on when it comes to Buffalo Bills football. I think Tremaine Edmunds will be here, no doubt, next year. There's something confidence-wise that I have, and I still have a ton of confidence in Brandon Beane. We all know a lot of people on social media, and Roy Collins is right. I don't do social media. Probably a good thing. Social media is awesome in the sense it helps grow our brands, helps grow like what we want to do. It's also toxic, also makes you miserable, and also drives you nuts. So YouTube's probably the way to go because you can kind of choose what you want to watch. But in the Tremaine Edmunds thing, the Roquan Smith contract kind of, I wouldn't say screws it up, but I think Roquan Smith's a better player than Tremaine Edmunds. So I think that helps the Bills a little in the sense, well, we don't think you're Tremaine Edmunds level, so we're not going to give we don't think you're Roquan Smith level, so we're not going to give you that contract. I still think they can get it done for 15 to 17 million. Look, are they in the best cap situation they've ever been in? No. They're in a pretty bad cap situation, but the cap's a myth. Like I don't believe in the cap. If the Bills want Tremaine Edmunds, if the Bills want Tremaine Edmunds to be back next year, and Tremaine Edmunds wants to be back next year, obviously it has to be a mutual agreement. I think it's going to get done. I think the Bills are going to restructure a ton of people. Josh Allen's one of them. Trey White's one of them. Diggs could be restructured. Josh Allen's the biggest restructure because he opens up $20 million right away. So that's going to be done. And I'm assuming Josh would be cool with that because his main goal, he's getting paid enough. And his main goal, obviously, is to win a Super Bowl. And having Tremaine Edmunds or getting more players obviously helps you to that goal. I know a lot of people are going to be like, well, 15 to 17 million is a lot. I don't think it's a lot. I think Tremaine Edmunds is one of the best off-ball linebackers in the NFL. And you saw the stat. The Bills, I don't know if you saw, but the stat came out. I'm going to get the numbers wrong. But Tremaine Edmunds on the field, the Bills were the fourth best passing defense in the NFL. When he was off the field, they were either, I should have wrote this down, were either 28 or 29th in pass defense. That's a huge, and you can go anything you want about Leslie Frazier's defense in the playoffs. You don't love it or not. There's a big freaking difference from being the fourth best pass defense to a bottom tier pass defense.
So the question is, we keep Tremaine Edmunds and have a really good regular season defense, or we get rid of him and then we get the defense we see in the playoffs for all 17 games.
Yeah. I don't think. And also another thing with Tremaine Edmunds, you drafted him in the same draft as Josh Allen. You got your leader on the defense, and you got your leader on your offense. He's 24. Like that's the big. Like you're walking away from Tremaine Edmunds,
100 tackles a year,
and then you're redoing the middle. Like I love Matt Milano, but you need both. Like you're kind of restarting at the middle linebacker position.
Yeah,
you might have to eat the money. You're gonna do it. You might have to sacrifice another position. And that other position is probably Jordan Poyer. Like, you're going to have to and I don't think it's a hard choice. I really don't, in my opinion, like, which way you're going to go to. Like, who are we replacing Tremaine Edmunds with? Are we drafting a middle linebacker at 27?
Tyler McCavich.
Oh, no.
Well, the thing is, too, like, the thing with Tremaine Edmunds in the Josh Allen draft that makes it like, the NFL likes their stories, and we love the storylines and the little intricacies that go into it. In the year Josh Allen was drafted, you're right. We drafted the cornerstone offensive player and the cornerstone defensive player. From all intents and purposes, that's what it looked like. Josh was the 7th pick. Tremaine Edmunds was the 16th pick. 7-1-6. Do you really want to mess up that mojo? Do you want to mess up the 7-1-6 mojo with this team? You can't do it. At the end of the day, the salary cap is a myth. He's got to stay. But you made an excellent point, and I don't mean to go off on a tangent. But I actually wrote an article for a2zsports.com/Buffalo. You can find me there about what Brandon Beane could do this year. And you hit the nail on the head. Josh Allen's restructure would free up $27.5 million, which would be a $21.2 million cap saving. Von Miller, they could get $10.9 million cap saving with a restructure. Dion Dawkins could net them a $6.3 million cap space. Trey White, 6.1. And then two of them that are unlikely. Diggs could yield them a 5.5 and Milano around a 4 to 6 million. So available cap space with Trey White, Dion Dawkins, Von Miller, and Josh Allen, $44.5 million.
You can do some serious work there.
Yeah, bring OBJ. Bring back Robert Woods, Bobby Trees, baby, coming back to Buffalo.
You could go get Jacoby Myers. Jacoby Myers. You could go get Jacoby Myers. We did a post 2 days ago. I'm a Jacoby Myers guy. Besides him, and people were like, "Well, he threw the ball backwards on that play against the Raiders." Well, that's one play. But okay, that's not who he is. Kenny's coming in on YouTube. I think Edmunds will leave. I don't think he followed up with Bean wants to invest $30 million a year into 2 linebackers. I get that point. I 100% understand where you're coming from. Who are we replacing him with? I'm a gloss for words.
Inspector?
No. Terrell, is it Tyler Dodson or Terrell Bernard? And I think Terrell Bernard potentially could be a good player. I don't know.
Didn't Dodson post something on
Dodson's
Twitter? Goodbye.
He's not coming back. Yeah. But Bernard was the 3rd round pick. Didn't see a lot of action this year because the Bills like to be stubborn and run that 2 linebacker set with the.
I don't even think it's that they like to be stubborn. It's just that regardless of situation, it appears that rookies just struggle getting playing time. James Cook and Khalil Shakir would like to have a word.
And Kaiir Elam.
Yeah.
Who did play more towards the end of the year and actually played really, really well. I think people forget how good I think Elam actually was. If I were Edmunds, I would want to test free agency. Yeah, he's going to do it. I think the Bills could. Well, people are against the tag because it's around 20 to 22 million a year, or for the next year it would be for Edmunds if you tagged him. I think if the Bills say we found out they tag Tremaine Edmunds, they're getting a contract on.
Yes.
I don't think the Bills are good, and I think they should do that because it gives them a little more wiggle room. You don't have to worry about him leaving. You can work on other people and then get to Tremaine Edmunds. You're not going to let Tremaine Edmunds play for 20 plus million for 1 year and then potentially leave. You're going to work in a long-term contract. I think the tag is meant to sign a long-term. Teams use it for the wrong reasons. Kirk Cousins is the perfect example of the wrong reason for using the tag. But I think if they use the tag on Tremaine Edmunds, he's going to sign a long-term contract. 5 years. I saw $75 million. I don't hate that contract. It's a lot of money. I know. It's a lot of money. And I saw one prediction, Tremaine Edmunds to the Patriots for 5 years, $75 million. Yeah, that sucks. I don't want that. I don't know if anybody.
I don't want Tremaine in New England, and I don't want Poyer in Miami.
Poyer might be a Dolphin. I got a bad feeling about that.
I have a very good feeling Poyer is going to be a Dolphin next year.
They don't sign Edmunds. Kurt's coming in on Facebook. They don't sign Edmunds. Go get Andrew Van Ginkel, who is very underrated for the Dolphins and will cost way less than Edmunds. No disrespect to Andrew Van Ginkel. No.
Who?
I don't know who that is. I have no idea.
Who?
I have no idea who that is. Do you know who Andrew Van Ginkel is?
No. I mean, to your point earlier, if Tremaine walks, there's an immediate gaping hole. It's the same thing with Poyer, but I would like to see what they got out of the rookies.
He had 47 tackles this past year.
So like a quarter of what Tremaine Edmunds had.
Yeah. I'm good. He had half a sack.
Oh, okay.
In 3 years, he has 181 tackles. Tremaine Edmunds last year had 102. Tremaine Edmunds in 1 more year has 565. Andrew Van Ginkel has, what was the number? 181 in 3 years. Tremaine Edmunds in 4 years, or excuse me, 5 years, has 565.
And we're just getting to peak Tremaine Edmunds, too. The dude is so young. He's a baby in the NFL, and he's gotten all this experience. I don't know. I would hate to see him walk. My mind's just more cynical with years of torturous Bills fandom that I can see him going away and going to New England and ruining our hearts. But I want the dude to stay. I want him to be a Buffalo Bill. I got his jersey. I mean, that should be enough for him to stay.
Lord Collins coming in, $44 million. The $16 million that we were over right now makes about $28 million in available cap. Yeah, because we're over $16 million. So look, the Bills aren't adding 7 new players
No.
this year. They're going to have to draft well. They have a good roster already, but they're going to have to draft well. They're going to have to pay Tremaine Edmunds or Poyer, one of two. One of them is going to be a Buffalo Bill next year. Pick or choose. We'll get to Poyer in a second. And then, you got maybe like a Paris Campbell. Like Juju Smith-Schuster signed for 1 year, $3.6 million. You kind of get that type of receiver and then draft a receiver. That's kind of my logic. And then you have Diggs, Davis, Shakir, a veteran receiver. You get free agency and a rookie.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, with the Bills nowadays, we have the Josh Allen effect, right? It's what was able to kind of help bring Von Miller to Buffalo. So it's more likely that we'll be able to get one of those bigger players on a 1 year lesser deal for the ability to come to Buffalo. Look at Emmanuel Sanders a few years ago. Bigger name, came to Buffalo, played a little bit, played well. Paired up with Josh Allen. Like, you'll see more of that with the receiving core as well. I like Paris Campbell. I really do like Bobby Trees. I really want Robert Woods back in Belo, baby. But yeah, I think we're going to get a veteran wide receiver as well. I don't know if OBJ is going to work because he does want a longer-term deal, but we'll just have to wait and see with the offense.
I see a couple of Levante Davids in here. Or maybe one. Maybe I'm just reading something. Levante David's 33. No. I don't want Levante David. Do you want Levante David?
No.
Was he 33?
I'd rather rock with Bernard. We got a rookie there. What can he do?
Let's see. Levante David this past year in 17 games. Oh, damn. 124 tackles. Okay, maybe I do want Levante David.
Who was the Bengals linebacker that's available as well?
Pratt?
I'm seeing names going around for the Bengals. It might be Pratt.
Izzy wants Levante David. Izzy, I can't put up your first message because it's inappropriate, Izzy. This is a children's show, Izzy. What are we doing, man? Trying to get me in trouble here. Izzy, Red Zone Report on Sunday, part of the Bill and Buffalo Network. He wants Levante David. I still want Tremaine Edmunds. Like, Tremaine Edmunds is a long-term Buffalo Bill. Like, he's a long-term piece that could be, he's 24. He could be here till he's 31. Like, his contract won't be 7 years. 5-year deal, he'll be 29. You could, if he's still really good, you could re-up him again for 3 more years, and he could be a lifelong Buffalo Bill because he's that good, that young, and I think he's that talented. Pratt, who you were mentioning, Adam, will be too expensive. Yeah, look, there's some free agent options. There's Pratt, there's Levante David. I still want Tremaine Edmunds.
Do you think that Bean and McDermott are going into the season thinking that they have 2 holes to fill on the roster, though, with linebacker and safety?
You mean
it's got to be in the back of their mind.
You mean like at this exact moment?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think safety is easier to safety is not easier to the position's easier to replace. It's not easier to replace Jordan Poyer's production, but it's an easier position to replace if you think Micah Hyde's coming back, Micah Hyde.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If Micah Hyde wasn't coming back, Micah Hyde, let's say he retired for horrible reason, right? That would be a problem. I would be very worried about where this
an Eric Wood type retiring after a postseason physical, and all of a sudden you're down your all-pro center out of nowhere.
Yeah, I think if you're being your McDermott, the safety position is much easier to replace positionally wise. DeMar Hamlin, we don't know. Obviously, that situation's a whole different type of ball game than just a normal injury. But you have Hyde. You can go get people were talking about. Izzy talked about on the show. Go get me Terrell Edmunds. He will be cheap. He'll be $2 to $4 million. He was pretty good. Terrell Edmunds and Micah Hyde in that secondary. Bringing back Tremaine Edmunds.
Nope. I got one better for you. And I called it last year during draft coverage. I knew that Christian Benford was a Swiss Army knife and could play safety. And then there were reports after camp saying, or after the season had ended, that they were taking a good hard look at Christian Benford playing the safety position. I think they might have their answer at the player opposite Micah Hyde with Christian Benford if Poyer were to walk. I really do believe that.
Really?
Yeah.
You wouldn't think so.
Benford got the start over Kaiir Elam week 1.
Yeah. Benford. No, I agree. So let's say now we're going to Poyer here. Let's say Poyer walks, right? We'll play this game. Poyer walks. would you be against, let's say, Micah Hyde on one side? Obviously, he'd be locked in as the quote unquote free safety. That's more of like a Madden term than like anything else, I think, in my opinion. Benford and then a veteran safety. Is that cool with you?
Yeah.
Is that cool with you? Because I'm not saying they split snaps because I can't do the stinking split snaps thing. But let's say the Benford thing blows up. Let's say it doesn't work. Then you got a problem because he really don't have a true safety, or the veteran's just way better than Benford, or vice versa. Benford's way better than the veteran.
Well, what you do is you would just phase Benford over to the other side of the ball, right? So you have Trey White and Benford on one side, Micah Hyde and Kyrie Elam on the other side. So it kind of helps their whatever they're lacking in their game. The better player is kind of helping shade over there as well.
Izzy thinks Benford's Hyde's replacement. He could be, but you got to. So it could be veteran Benford, draft a guy, and then Benford eventually replaces Hyde.
They need depth there, regardless. They need depth,
especially with the DeMar Hamlin situation. I don't think Jaquan Johnson's coming back.
No.
Nor do we really want him back.
And do we even know? I know that the doctor, NFLPA doctor, quote unquote, guaranteed that the DeMar Hamlin would be coming back and playing meaningful football again. Do you think Hamlin sees the field next year? I don't even know what a reasonable timeline for return when you have a cardiac arrest and have to be resuscitated on the field. I've never seen anything like it.
I don't think he comes. I would say he's not playing next year. I'm not a doctor. Neither are, obviously, we're both not doctors. So I'm going to listen to the quote unquote experts. But he said he'll play meaningful football again. He didn't say a year. He didn't say a time. He didn't say what month. Like, he could be talking about 2025.
Yeah.
I have no idea because no one knows. This is not a torn ACL where you could put a timestamp on it. This is an injury that was literally life threatening because it was, and now it's luckily he's lucky to be alive.
Yes,
more or less to play football. I think he wants to play football again. Look, I don't know the guy personally. Everything I read,
in general, if Poyer were to leave, even if he were to stay, we need depth at that position.
Well, yeah, I don't think. Look, all due respect to DeMar Hamlin, they're not banking on DeMar Hamlin next year.
No,
that'd be stupid. No, that'd be really. I think even in play for the safety position would be drafting a guy in the first or second round if they really felt like an Antonio Johnson or Brian Branch or Jordan Battle, and then still bring in a veteran guy if they don't want to move Benford. Do that, or I agree with you. I like the Benford to safety with the veteran.
Yeah,
I think that is one. The more you're gonna get the most value out of that. I'm not saying you're gonna get the most production out of that because maybe if you take Antonio Johnson in the first round, he's better than both of them, which could be true. It's just, do you want to waste a first round pick on a safety?
Which I don't think Bean will. OLBL.
No. And yeah, look, we could draft like a Trey Dean or Rashad Torrance from Florida, but those guys are more end of day 2, early day 3 picks. You're still not banking on that guy to start. You could, if you don't think Benford can move to safety, you can draft a safety in the 3rd round and sign a veteran.
Yeah,
you could do the Terrell Bernard method. You could do that. But I'm going to ask you, we ain't even got to if Jordan Poyer is coming back. We're talking about if he doesn't. Do you think Jordan Poyer comes back, Adam?
No, I think he's gone. I think he had a statement during the Super Bowl weekend where he said that he didn't even have contract talks at all with Bean and McDermott. And listen, they were on a really tight-lipped ship over there. We don't really hear anything coming out, any leaks or anything. But the dude's a baller. He's an all-pro. He deserves to get the bag. I can't see him staying in Buffalo next season. I love Jordan Poyer. I'm a huge Jordan Poyer fan. When he came over to us from the Browns, revitalized his career, really was a staple of this Buffalo defense, and just as an epitome of what Bills Mafia and the hardworking citizens of Western New York are. That's Jordan Poyer. I love him dearly. I wish him nothing but the best, but I really just can't see him returning next year.
I agree with Izzy, Benford, and Tremaine Edmunds plus 1 more year of Hyde plus get Tremaine back on a slight discount. Sign me up for all
down
that.
100 times over.
Jordan Poyer won't be a Buffalo Bill next year.
I think he'll be a Miami Dolphin.
That's not fun. I don't think Jordan Poyer is a Buffalo Bill next year. Look, ready? He turns 32 in April. So he will be 32 when the season starts. Are we going to give a safety who's 32, who, awesome on him, he played through a ton of injuries this year.
A lot.
Credit to him.
Starting in training camp.
Yes, that's awesome. But guess what? He was injured multiple times. Are we gonna pay an aging safety who's turning 32, 3 to 4 year contract with not Tremaine Edmunds money, but significant money that's going to go against the cap? I want Jordan Poyer to be a Buffalo Bill. And there's nothing wrong saying if you don't think Jordan Poyer is going to be a Buffalo Bill next year. That's not disrespectful to Jordan Poyer.
No.
It's a business. It's a financial situation. The Bills had $110 million in cap space. Oh, yeah. Who cares? We have cap space. Jordan Poyer just doesn't fit.
No.
Look, could Bean work some crazy magic and have him back? Yeah. But the press conference, or not the press conference, whatever show he went on, and I hate when look, I'm all for players with their freedom of speech and like you can say what the heck you want. Everybody has a podcast now. Von Miller's a podcast. But Von Miller saying he'll be back for the Jets game, got all of our hopes up, and then he was out for the year. So
devastating.
It was devastating. Because I saw Von Miller come out, he's going to be back for the Jets game or maybe the week after, and you're like, oh, we're good. And then out for the year, you're like, shit.
Yep.
Thanks for getting my hopes up, Von Miller, for no apparent reason. Or
Poyer deserves to get his bag.
Everyone deserves to get their bag.
They were like 13-1 with him. He was a difference maker. He's been a difference maker. Jordan Poyer is a game changer, and he deserves every dime of whatever massive contract he gets. I just don't think the Bills have the funds when looking at a 32-year-old safety to keep him on the roster when you have a middle linebacker who also needs to get paid, who can spend 5 more years in Buffalo and improve his game every year. I don't know if you sign Poyer to a 5-year contract if he can improve his game every single year. No disrespect to Jordan Poyer. I'm just saying the age thing. That's it.
Yeah. Look, if you're going to get Jordan Poyer on a 2-year contract with a good amount of money, I think you can work that in with Tremaine. Yes. I really think you could. A team is going to give him 4 years.
Easily.
He's going to give him 4 years, 3 to 4 years, and that means he'll be 36.
Like he might. I don't know if he'll reset the market, but he's going to be one of the, if not the highest paid safeties next. Or I think he's going to get a bag. I think he's going to get a massive.
So much leverage in. I guess the only leverage he doesn't have is his age. I guess that's a huge leverage to have.
Look at his stats and look at how dominant.
He's a dominant player. The Bills' record with him on the field was dominant. They were awesome. The only loss was the Bengals game that we don't talk about anymore. That didn't happen. Never happened. And yeah, I don't think he'll be a Buffalo Bill next year. Is that unfortunate? Yeah. Is it the reality? Probably. But do they choose Poyer over Tremaine Edmunds? I don't think so. I would highly doubt that. If you had to choose one, Adam, I think I know what you're going to say. Poyer or Edmunds. Like if you had to choose Edmunds, okay. Yeah, I think I knew I was going. Yeah, I agree. I'm an Edmunds guy.
I love both of them. Again, this is no disrespect to Jordan Poyer, but the dude also signed Greg Rosenhaus, who is a really good agent who is known for getting his players money, which Poyer deserves, and we just don't have the money. Yes, we can do the restructures. It doesn't make sense right now. And I am happy to be wrong, and I see a ping pop up that Brandon Beane signs Poyer to 2-year, $27 million, or whatever the case may be. I will be happy as a clam. I just need to personally be okay with seeing Poyer leave so my heart doesn't get broken by the Bills again.
YouTube is blowing up right now. Every comment, we're usually killing it on Facebook. Every comment's coming from YouTube. Awesome. Guys, subscribe to the YouTube channel if you're not. We're almost at 1,000 subscribers on the brand new Built in Buffalo YouTube, so that is awesome. John's coming in. I would rather see us sign somebody else other than Edmunds and Poyer, and then turn around and bring in Melvin Gordon type on the defense. So what? So you want to lose both? Am I reading this right, or am I just going crazy right now?
Poyer and Edmunds for Melvin Ingram.
What? John.
Okay.
What?
All right.
So he wants both gone.
You don't need a linebacker if you get to the quarterback every play.
Guess that's true. Honey Badger only got 9.3. Yeah, safety market's different than the linebacker market. Like I think Poyer gets between 10 and 12 mil a year. 11. I think Poyer gets 11. Are the Bills going to pay him 11 a year? They could. I think it's the years for me. And also the Bills are in that financial situation where there's not a lot of cap.
Do you think there's no shot they franchise tag him? If they can get an agreement with Edmunds, restructure, and they sign Poyer to a franchise tag.
and have him and make him play under the franchise tag. Oh, I think Poyer would be miserable.
He would be furious.
That'd be bad if they made him play under the franchise tag and then he's gone after that year. Because it would be basically 1 year and see ya. Because that's what it'd be.
Yep.
Unless you sell him on one more ride of Hyde, you could sell him on that. What's the money? I don't know what the exact number for franchise. Let's see. Franchise tag
13.5. No, 11.5.
Franchise tag salaries. Is that the best thing to Google? And I just don't know how to type. I don't care about how it's
14.47 million.
Do you say 14?
14.47 million.
You would sell him on the money.
It would rank 9th among safeties in the NFL next season.
Okay, so you're not really selling him on the money. I think that would be... Is disrespectful the right word? I don't know if it's the right word. I think that's what a lot of people would call it. What would you be against? I wouldn't be personally against that. Poyer would be. I think Poyer would hate that.
Well, it doesn't happen often. I mean, looking at this article from the Bills Wire, Brandon Beane and company, and not even just Brandon Beane. There have only been 5 times the Bills have used the franchise tag in the team's history. Most recent was 2016. They just don't do it.
Who was that? Darrell Williams? No.
Offensive lineman Cordy Glenn.
Oh, why did I think it was Darrell Williams? I remember Cody Glenn. He was okay. And then we traded him to trade up for Josh Allen. And all those trades we made to go get Josh Allen. So thank you for Josh Allen, Cordy Glenn. Adrian Amos to replace Poyer. Yeah, I think Adam and I are both on Poyer. Thank you. We love you.
Yeah.
We'll make a tribute video. See ya. Get a veteran guy in, and then either draft a guy in the later rounds or have Benford move over. I think that's probably the most cost-effective way to go, where you can also get another weapon, O-line, bring back Edmunds, diddle-daddle, wherever else you want to diddle-daddle, and still have a good enough safety or a good enough secondary, especially if White comes back to Tre'Davious White and Micah Hyde comes back. Because if they both do, then I don't think it really matters.
No.
Then it's okay. And if Kaiir Elam takes that year 2 step, because a lot of things I liked from year 1 from Kaiir Elam, if he improves on that, I think he could be a very good corner.
Well, health will be a big thing too, and even just the emotional toll that this season took. I mean, the snowpocalypse. Dozens of people in Western New York lost their lives, and the Buffalo Bills wore that. The situation with Damar Hamlin on the football field, dying on the football field and being resuscitated. Dawson Knox lost his brother. There was a lot of different emotional battles that the team had to face this year, on top of dealing with a pretty nasty slew of injuries. I mean, losing Von Miller, Jordan Poyer was hurt in the beginning of training camp. Micah Hyde got knocked out for the year. It was an unfortunate. Allen with his elbow. Jamison Crowder was out. It was an emotional toll on top of the slew of injuries they faced. Matt Milano came out after the game and said, you know what, we were just drained. We were beat. We were just exhausted. It just was a huge emotional toll. So it'll be interesting to see next year what happens with the team, and hopefully, knock on wood, they won't have to be dealing with so many emotional things, and the city won't be reeling from all the catastrophe that had happened, even with the Tops shooting last year as well. They're just, a lot was weighing on their hearts and minds last year.
Yeah, no, 100% agree. Amen to that. Josh McCarthy, part of the Built in Buffalo Network. Love Poyer, but it's not close. Edmunds is way more important. I agree. Let's see. Johnny's coming in. What's up, Johnny? Appreciate you coming in. Poyer greater than Edmunds? I don't know. I think a lot of Bills Mafia agrees with Johnny.
He's got the accolades.
He does. He just doesn't have the 7-8 years difference and the more important position. Poyer's gone. Sign Edmunds or tag and trade for picks. What the heck are we doing here? We're going down a rabbit hole for to start talking about trading Tremaine Edmunds for picks. If you want to give me trade Ed Oliver, sign me up for that, trading Ed Oliver. I think that's another. I don't know if you wrote about that in your restructure article, but that's another.
Ed Oliver over to Arizona for D-Hop, straight up.
Oh yeah, I'm good with that. But if you trade Ed Oliver for a pick, right? That opens up cap space.
Yeah.
I'm not against that. I don't know. Ed Oliver's been good. Are you gonna pay? If you're not gonna pay Ed Oliver, like if you're like, yeah, what he's gonna get on the market, it's just we're not doing it.
Trade him.
Because I think you can live without Ed Oliver. And you can add to other positions. If you want to bring in that veteran safety, if you want to add another better guard, which you're going to have to do, another veteran tackle to compete with Spencer Brown. I'm not talking about the draft picks yet. If you want to go get Jacoby Myers, trade Ed. Like if you're like, okay, we trade Ed Oliver, we can go get Jordan Poyer. We can go get Jacoby Myers and a good, solid, like a Ben Powers at left guard, right? For example, sign me up for that. I'm on board with that. If Ed Oliver opening up cap space does that, then I'm doing it because I think Jacoby Myers would be great on this team. I think another veteran left guard would be great on this team. I think there's more value in those two positions for next year than adding Ed Oliver, especially how good Daquan Jones was. And if you want to bring back Jordan Phillips, you also can go down the route of getting another Daquan Jones and signing a cheapish veteran D tackle. Because Ed Oliver's production just doesn't live up to his name or his billing that we gave him when he was drafted.
He dealt with some injuries last year, too. I think that everyone was really hoping to see the D-line really explode with Von Miller. But injuries, again, Daquan Jones, he was out. Jordan Phillips was out. Ed Oliver was out. AJ Epinez is going to be due for a contract after next year. Tyler Bass is going to be due for a contract after next year. There's just a lot of decisions this front office have to make that they can't just destroy everything to bring back beloved members of the Mafia.
Johnny, I'm not calling you out here, but are we really doing this, man? Are we really doing this, dude? I love you, and everyone that comments on the show, YouTube, not way too many comments, but I'm not able to get to every comment because my brain's trying to scroll. And I appreciate that on YouTube. Johnny, come on, man. I don't know you, but I know you're smarter than that. I get it. It's 5 interceptions, but we are talking about a linebacker. We are talking about a 24-year-old linebacker that has never had under 100 sacks.
100 sacks?
100 tackles.
100 sacks, man. 100 if he had 100 sacks, sign him.
I was reading sacks. He's never had under 100 tackles in his career. If you read my stat earlier, the Bills' passing defense went from 4th to 20, we'll say 29th, but it's either 28, 29th to 29, from 4th to 29th when Tremaine Edmunds was not on the field. Sorry, Johnny. Screw your interceptions. That if that pass defense drops that much without Tremaine Edmunds, then he's a heck of a good pass defender. It's just interceptions are not the most stat you should look at. It's like blocks in the NBA. Blocks are the most overrated stat in basketball. Interceptions, in my opinion, are the most overrated things in the NFL. Interceptions are awesome. Look, if Tremaine Edmunds wants to get 8 interceptions next year, cool. That means we got the ball 8 more times for Josh Allen. Interceptions are not everything. That's not how you define a player, especially a secondary player, and he's not even a secondary player.
Johnny's firing up Peter with these interceptions.
I'm so sick of the Tremaine Edmunds slander. Like, you know what? If he's on someone else's team next year, someone else is going to slander. You know what? Nobody else is going to slander him because outside of like 3 teams, they would all die to have Tremaine Edmunds on the team. Maybe the Ravens because they had Patrick Queen and Roquan Smith, or Fred Warner with the 49ers. I can't think of any other linebackers off the top of my head that are as valuable. Or maybe when Bobby Wagner was in his prime. Like, stuff like that. Like, we're talking how good Tremaine Edmunds is. My bad he's not Fred Warner or Roquan Smith. He's a heck of a good linebacker. And he needs to be a long-term Buffalo. Oh, I'm so sick of this.
And he's a good leader, too.
Yeah, I'm so sick of this. Oh, my God. I'm going to fire up Johnny. 6.5 career sacks. What are we doing? What are we doing here? What are we doing here? It's February, and I'm getting annoyed. It's February 22nd.
Johnny, hit us up with what stat line, sacks and interceptions you would need in order to extend Tremaine Edmunds. Let me know sacks and interceptions. If you saw the number, you'd be like, I'm signing Edmunds today. That's what I want to see.
Roy, you're right. Oliver was a top 10 pick. He shouldn't need above average players around to be productive.
Boom. Nailed it. Yep.
I like Ed Oliver. This
too.
is not a hate on Ed Oliver. I think he's good.
Yeah.
He has another year. So you never know, but he's going to get more than I think his value on the open market. I think he's going to get more. that will put
Don't
the
D
Bills.
linemen in general, isn't that the thing? Is defensive linemen typically get overpaid a little bit?
Yeah, D tackles that have that pass rush ability.
Yeah.
That are more than just a D tackle, because everyone thinks he's Aaron. Everyone thinks they're the next Aaron Donald or Chris Jones. Look, if the Bills, if they trade at Oliver, right? And I'm like 50-50 on if they're going to trade at Oliver or not. They might not. Let's say he's not a Buffalo Bill next year. Then you would have Daquan Jones, you would have Tim Settle. They brought back Jordan Phillips. We don't know, and then you have to add another D tackle. I'm not against that. I really don't. I don't think you need a D tackle to go get sacks. There's not a lot of teams that have D tackles that get a lot of sacks, unless you have Aaron Donald or Chris Jones or Javon Hargrave on the Eagles, and Eagles might have had the best pass rush in the regular season history, and they didn't get a sack in the Super Bowl.
Yep.
So, the Bills' D line is much different with Von Miller than without Von Miller. A fully healthy Von Miller, if you expect a fully healthy Von Miller next year, then I think you can get rid of Ed Oliver.
That's fair.
Best cover linebacker in the league in Edmunds. I wouldn't go that far, but I like your attitude. I agree with you. I wouldn't go there. I wouldn't go there, but
I'm still waiting for Johnny to hit us up with how many sacks and interceptions Tremaine Edmunds needs to have in order to bring him back. I'm curious.
Johnny left?
Johnny?
Yeah. You think he left?
No, I think he's looking at numbers to try to compare.
I hate to see Peter's reaction if we don't sign. That would be one heck of a show. I might have to if Tremaine Edmunds
emergency pod.
I would also have to hop on whoever show day it is and just be like, I'm coming on. I don't care, and just start going off. Man, YouTube is killing it tonight. Appreciate everyone that is watching on YouTube. Let's keep going, boys, boys and girls who's watching on YouTube. Oliver should be dominant this year. Another offseason with Von Miller. Yeah, I think him paired with Von Miller.
For.
But are you going to sign a guy long term because he's good when Von Miller plays? No, I think you can get away if you use Ed Oliver's cap space to go add to other positions in whatever position you want to add. I think that is more value than Ed Oliver brings to the table.
And hey, he could blow up this year. He could have a dominant year, and we're sitting here next year going, we need to re-sign this dude. Wow, Ed Oliver killed it.
And you probably won't be able to.
And I would love to have that conversation.
It's a good conversation. Look, if Ed Oliver wants to have a great year and then we win the Super Bowl and then he leaves, I'm okay.
Love you. I'm
okay.
Thank
you. I'm okay. Johnny, Sharon. Hey, Johnny. No hate, Johnny. No hate.
No,
Johnny.
I just want to know.
No, I just want to know what this is civil. I disagree with you, Johnny. Appreciate you coming. I want you to come back next Wednesday and keep coming comments. You don't have to agree with me or Adam. I don't know.
If there's a certain number that if you saw for sacks and interceptions, you'd be more inclined to sign him. I'm fine with your opinion. He hasn't had a lot of career interceptions. He hasn't had a lot of sacks. He's had a ton of tackles, but that's what middle linebackers do, right? Tremaine Edmunds should be getting to the hole and getting a lot of tackles. So I'm just curious if there was a number that you would like to see from him.
I want offensive linemen and more than one build a wall around Josh Allen. I think the Bills go absolutely nuclear on the offensive line this offseason.
100%.
I think the Bills, there's a couple starters that are in line, I think, that are already starters for next year. I think Deion Dawkins at left tackle. I think Mitch Morse is going to be your starting center next year. I think that's okay. And I think Bates starts at one of the guard positions. I do. I think the Bills draft a right guard / left guard, whatever you want to move Bates, whatever you think he's better. Draft a tackle and then bring in veterans.
Yep.
I think the Bills draft at least 2 offensive linemen, bring in 2 guys that are legit offensive linemen that could start from day one. Not freaking Roger Saffold, not David Questenberry. If you want to bring Questenberry back, cool. To be a backup tackle, I'm cool with that. But you're going to have to bring in guards and a tackle that are going to compete right away with the rookie. If not, the rookie sits a year and you go. I go Cyrus Torrance, perfect left guard. Excuse me, I got the hiccups all of a sudden. Perfect left guard to draft in the first round, in my opinion. Plug and play right away. Go get a tackle in the 3rd or 4th round. Bring in a veteran. We call it a day. What are your thoughts on the O-line?
I think we need to protect Josh Allen, obviously. But I think more so every draft's important. Every offseason is important. But this one feels a little more important. Listen, there were sky-high expectations for the Bills coming into the year. We were preseason favorites to win the Super Bowl. Preseason MVP odds for Josh Allen. things are starting to get a little tighter. Some fan favorites are going to have to start leaving because of the cap situation. And it seems like maybe the window might be starting to close a little bit. Look, Bean is a wizard. Love the dude. Hated that he let Miles Teller or Teller go. Wyatt Teller. I hated that he let Isaiah Hodgins go. At the end of the day, Bean really needs to nail this draft. This is one of the more important drafts. This is the Josh Allen, Tremaine Edmunds, questionable, I know, drafts coming up. We need to nail the O-line to protect Josh Allen. We need to get another weapon. And it's really going to be determined on what happens with Tremaine Edmunds and Jordan Poyer. And then looking into next season with the pieces that we're going to be missing. I have all the faith in Bean. I think he can find gold, but it's really going to be what we can do in the draft. And we need to protect Josh Allen. Take a look, for example, of what happens when you don't protect your quarterback, right? The Colts, as of recent, Andrew Luck. Couldn't protect him. Dude was getting beaten up. Allen, during the playoffs, had blood on both of his elbows. He puts it all out on the line. You got to protect your franchise quarterback. You have to. Put all the assets you can into the O-line. Protect that man.
Trying to get to some of your comments, everyone's comments here, and I'm just not going to be able to because it's too much. Roy's coming to believe Bates said he prefers playing left guard. His numbers will slightly better left guard. Yeah, like if you think, I think Bates, I don't think he's like written down as the starter for next year. Like that's 100%. I'm pretty good. It's going to be hard to replace 3 guys on the offensive line all of a sudden, unless you're getting 3 all-pros coming in hot, which is not going to happen. So I expect Bates to be a left guard or right guard. And I think at times Bates played better than people thought and want to give him credit for. I also thought at times Bates was below average, but he wasn't nowhere near how bad Spencer Brown was and Roger Saffold was. Bates was. I don't think he was that level. Bates could be the eventual center replacement. That also could be an option.
Yeah.
But I expect the Bills, and I expect all Bills fans to understand this offensive line is going to look a little different. Get ready, buckle up. This offseason is going to be, I think it's going to be a wild offseason. I don't think it's Von Miller level offseason in the sense, but that was a wild move. It wasn't a wild offseason. I expect a wild offseason.
Well, Brandon Beane came out and said there's not going to be any Von Miller type moves this offseason with the cap space.
DeAndre Hopkins. No, I'm joking.
I would love that.
Top 10 bold predictions for I don't know whoever posted it. Were like for free agency, the draft, all that stuff. Bills trade for DeAndre Hopkins. It's like, okay.
Where do I sign? Where do I sign up? I'm in Arizona, so I get to see him all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Give me D-Hop and Diggs.
Yeah, I don't know how you stop that. We
don't have a wide receiver too.
I don't know how you stop that.
You don't?
I don't think you do. I don't know.
Injuries. Injuries is the only thing that stop it.
Yeah, and bad O-line play. Let's see. Put everything in Josh Allen bucket. Interior O-line round 2. Offensive in general, D doesn't need to be elite. We can win with protecting. Yeah, defense doesn't need to be insane. I think the Bills have to understand. Look at the Super Bowl. Eagles had one of the best defenses in the league. Who cares? I tweeted it. Good offense beats good defense. Defense doesn't win championships. That's a myth. It's a freaking myth.
Peter is heated today, ladies and gentlemen. If you're on YouTube, if you're on Facebook, Peter is livid. Don't be coming at him with sacks and interceptions.
I feel like
don't be coming at him with defenses. No way.
I feel like every time you come on the show, I get mad at something. There's always someone commenting. Every time you come on, somebody's just driving me nuts.
It's the goat head. It's the Sabres goat head. That's what's doing.
Yeah. Draft O-line, protect your franchise.
Yep. Totally.
O-line, and we don't need a great receiver. DeAndre Hopkins would be awesome. Me and Adam kind of know that's kind of a pipe dream. Did I ever think we were getting Diggs or Von Miller? No. So I wouldn't never say never. It's the National Football League. It's sports. The Bills think DeAndre Hopkins works. Go for it. He does.
I would say too. I wrote an article for A2Zsports.com/Buffalo. You can find my writing there. But I wrote about an interesting stat, and I mentioned it briefly before about Ken Dorsey's inability to get some rookies on the field with some meaningful playing time. In a certain amount of attempts, Khalil Shakir was number 1 of all eligible rookie wide receivers in open rate. I could see Khalil Shakir having a much bigger role next year. And I agree. I think that we need to see an improvement from the receiving core. I don't think we need to see a great receiver. I just think we need to see an improvement. The Bills were top 5 in the NFL in dropped passes. Now, I know that's a caveat. It's not potatoes and potatoes. But I think that we're going to see some improvement there. And I think part of it does start with Khalil Shakir. But to Peter's point, don't get me wrong. We signed D-Hop, and I'm pumped. I'm buying a jersey yesterday.
Are you against this type of receiving core for next year? Diggs, Davis. You could say Davis is not a wide receiver too. Whatever. I don't really care. Diggs, Davis, a veteran guy. Like, does he have to, like Paris Campbell, for example? I know he's a little cheaper. Draft a guy, for example, second round, and Shakir. Does that sound good to you?
And
Okay.
Dawson Knox. I think Dawson Knox,
Yes.
losing his brother I can't even imagine the toll that it had on his playing.
100%.
I think Dawson Knox takes a step forward next year, and he's another viable. I mean, he's getting paid top 10 tight end money, and I think it's going to show. But yeah, Dawson Knox, Gabe Davis, Stephon Diggs, Khalil Shakir, a second-round rookie, and a veteran in there. I think that's a solid receiving core. It doesn't really matter to me when Josh Allen's throwing the football because the dude's a unicorn and a wizard.
Yeah, and I think I'm not even not mad at Dawson Knox. I think his touchdown production at the end of the year was great. It was like 5 or 6 straight games.
Yeah.
I don't need the yards from Dawson Knox. I really am not a big he's not Travis Kelce.
No.
We all know that. Travis Kelce might be the greatest tight end ever. I'm not saying he is. Tony Gonzalez people, all those Rob Gronkowski people. Travis Kelce's in that boat, no matter what you say.
But I think you can utilize Dawson Knox a little more than they did last.
Oh yeah, no, 100%, 100%. But I think the Bills' wide receiver core is going to look a little different next year. Not a crazy difference. You draft like a Jalen Hyatt in second round. First round, I've talked about. There's 3 guys you go trade up and get in the first round for receiver: Jordan Addison, Jackson Smith-Njigba, Quentin Johnson. Those 3 guys are game changers. Those guys are game changers, and you don't even have to sign a veteran guy if you go get like Jordan Addison.
What's the hit rate on a first-round wide receiver, though, nowadays?
I think it's higher than it used to be. I feel like this past year, I'm going off the top of my head. I think Chris Olave is a hit. I think he was good when he was healthy. Garrett Wilson was 100% a hit. Who else was there? Let's see.
Drake London.
I think he was a hit, and then he got injured. Let's see what else we got. Wide receiver. Jameson Williams missed the whole year, so I would say he's in NA. Like we don't know. His
first play back was like a 56-yard speed burner touchdown. Like,
but he was a TBD because we don't know. Like, he was injured. I think Olave and Wilson were hit. I would say Drake London, like, not TBD. I would say a little. Yeah. Let's see. Jahan Dotson was good, and then he got injured. So
also, who's throwing him the football?
Yeah. That's also important. Treylon, like all these people we're listing have nobody
hurt,
right? Treylon Burks, and then that's it for wide receivers in the first round. Every single person we just named, Treylon Burks, Titans, was Malik Willis, and it was Ryan Tannehill, so no quarterback. Jahan Dotson, Taylor Heineke, and Carson Wentz, no quarterback. Jameson Williams didn't play the whole year, so it doesn't matter. Chris Olave, Andy Dalton, and Jameis Winston, no quarterback. Garrett Wilson, Mike White, and Zach Wilson. No quarterback. Drake London, Marcus Mariota, and Desmond Ridder. No quarterback. Everybody had no quarterback. They went into like the top 5 worst quarterback situations like I just listed there in the NFL.
Yeah.
Maybe outside of the Texans and the Panthers, whatever. You go to the Bills with Addison, if you're Addison, Johnson, Njigba, Jalen Hyatt. You have one of the best quarterbacks throwing you the ball. That's instant production. That is instant production.
If you can get him the ball with the issues at O-line.
Yes. But I do think if you go get a first-round wide receiver, you maybe not have to sign a veteran guy, or you can go really on the cheap. Because then you can use that money to go get a guard.
You sign a wide receiver round 1, the next 4 rounds better be O-linemen.
Yeah, second and third round better be O-linemen, 100%. Man, 2 things should Woody not funny. This is Matt, part of the Built in Buffalo Network. 2 things holding strong tonight. Peter's hair product. If you don't know, Adam, I get made fun of for my hair. Not because it's bad, because I love my hair. But I don't know, I get made fun of for my hair in the Built in Buffalo chat. And his Tremaine Edmunds takes. Yeah, if you guys know me, I'm a Tremaine Edmunds guy. Like, he has to be a Bill. Does Peter need? Nah, I'm good. I'm all set. If people start commenting stupid shit about Tremaine Edmunds, I might need it. I've seen this comment multiple times on my show. Josh Allen hasn't had an offensive teammate that was drafted in round 1 since Kelvin Benjamin 2018. That's going to change this year. Is it a wide receiver? I don't know. Is it an offensive lineman? Probably more or less. It's going to change. It's
was
it
Booger McFarland, or who came out and said that Kelvin Benjamin's a Popeye's biscuit away from being a tight end?
Booger McFarland.
Yeah. One of the greatest statements of all time.
This is an interesting 2-part question. It's quick to answer. I think so. I
was going to give you a hard time because this part of the season always gets to me. The draft a running back in round 1, I just am not a fan.
Bijan Robinson if you're going to draft a running back in the first round, right? There's two guys that you would quote unquote do it. Do I think it's smart drafting running back in the first round? Hell no. I think it's.
Did we say that last year with Breece Hall and Kenneth Walker? That's what you do. And mind you, Breece Hall is a monster. Kenneth Walker.
Yes.
And the year before was the same thing with
no value in it. Look at the running backs that win Super Bowls.
Yeah. Isaiah Pacheco, 7th round.
I do think James Cook is going to be really good.
I do too. I think he's.
When they used James Cook, when they used him in the passing game and the running game, he was elite. Like literally, his whole year wasn't elite, but when he was used, he was an elite running back. Like Devin Singletary is not coming back. No. James Cook is that RB1, and you will get a veteran guy at the RB2 with Nyheim Hines,
which they've done over and over again. That's what the Bills do. They'll draft a running back in the 4th or 5th round, and they'll bring in a veteran. They do it every year since Bean has taken over.
I do think James Cook has way better ceiling than Zach Moss and better ceiling than Devin. I think like James Cook could be in a year or two a top 12 running back in the National Football League, top 10 running back. I think he's that good. I think when he was playing was that good. If you're going to draft a running back in the first round, and Brandon Bean, if you're listening, because you're not, don't do it. It would be Bijan Robinson over Jahmyr Gibbs. Jahmyr Gibbs is the same exact thing as James Cook. Bijan Robinson is that bruiser, I'm going to say Derrick Henry type of running back. Not Derrick Henry, but Derrick Henry type of running back. So if you're going to do that, then you go Bijan Robinson. Don't do it, though. It's not worth it. There's so many more, not so many more. I know we talk about how the Bills have needs. We were 13-3. Like, we were really good. There's more needs on this team than adding another running back. And I think James Cook, it wasn't like we saw nothing from James Cook. I think James Cook is him. I think he's going to be that
guy. He elevated his game throughout the year, and I think he's the answer for running back.
Would you want Beasley back just in case?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. I would not, because he's not going to cost you anything. So I'm not going to say no to Cole Beasley.
And he wants to come back. He likes Buffalo. He wants to come back.
I have a problem if Cole Beasley stops you from adding other players at that position. Like if you're like justify bringing back Cole Beasley because we're bringing back Cole Beasley, so we don't have to go get Juju or Jacoby Myers, for example. And you don't draft a guy, I'll be pretty annoyed. But if you draft a guy, bring like a veteran guy.
Do you think the chat is getting the inclination that you might be a Jacoby Myers to Buffalo guy?
Yes, I think Jacoby Myers. I think he might price us out though. I do think he might price us out. I think if he gets 12 to 14 million, the Bills aren't going to do that. But whatever. It's February 22nd. I got to talk about something.
Yeah, that's fair.
Tank Dell in the 3rd round. I think he might go earlier than the 3rd round. Wide receiver, he's a stud. I think a guy in the 2nd round you could take like Tank Dell, Jalen Hyatt, Zay Flowers.
I like Hyatt.
And I don't know if Hyatt gets to what? Tennessee,
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I don't know if Hyatt gets to 59 in the 2nd round.
I don't think he does.
And some people on my I had a tweet yesterday that blew up. I had like 160,000 views on it. And all I said was something about Osiris Torrance. And a lot of people were like, what do you think of trading up in the 2nd round? I think that's a legit option because it comes way cheaper than trading up in the 1st round. So if you want to trade
name up, a lot of Bills Mafia was clamoring for him was Schwartz as well.
The Lyman?
Yeah.
Yeah, Schwartz. Oh, I forgot Schwartz and then like Cody. I think it's the guy from North Dakota State or South Dakota State. North Dakota State. Yeah, he's been a riser. He could play tackle. He could get him in the 2nd round. That would be awesome. One of those Midwestern bruisers. I think that would be cool.
As long as he wrestled, we're down. And from Bean, like nearly half of the players that attended the Senior Bowl were picks from him. So looking at the roster, seeing who played in the Senior Bowl is a decent indicator if Bean or McDermott will take him.
John, I've seen a lot of people in this comment want Bijan Robinson in the 1st round.
Again, death taxes and Bills Mafia clamoring for a running back in round 1. It's the offseason, baby.
Please. I think Bijan Robinson could be really good. That's not the point of saying. Like I thought, Breece Hall was really good.
With Travis Etienne a couple years ago,
Travis Etienne
last year, and now Bijan Robinson now.
This can't be your best dream draft scenario that we get Bijan and then take a guard. My draft scenario would be Jordan Addison in the 1st round, a guard in the 2nd round, and then a tackle in the 3rd round, and then a safety in the 4th round. That's my dream draft scenario.
What are you going to do about linebacker if Edmunds walks? Or are you just pretending that that's not going to happen and you're good?
That's not happening.
Okay.
No.
5th round linebacker to replace Tremaine Edmunds.
To be completely honest, I haven't even processed in my head that Tremaine Edmunds is not going to be a Buffalo.
If he left, would you take a linebacker in the 1st or 2nd round?
Yeah.
Round 1 linebacker?
You're starting over. I think you have to go get Levante David then. A guy like that, in my opinion. Play him for 2 years and then figure it out. Like, I don't think you can rely on a rookie.
But then you're back in the same boat. Draft a linebacker first, second round, starting over again.
That's why Tremaine Edmunds can't go anywhere.
Okay.
Like I think you're just creating way more holes on your team than it already is.
Yeah.
Like,
especially for the signal caller on defense.
Yeah, like linebackers you could take would be like Trenton Simpson from Clemson, Drew Sanders from Arkansas. I like Trenton. Dave Myers, huge Trenton Simpson. I said Simpson guy. You could have him at 27. He'll be there at 27. I don't know. I'd be a little disappointed if that came to that situation for the Bills.
That's fair.
Oh my God, the amount of comments, and we're past our time. It's driving me. This is insane. This is awesome. Everyone on YouTube, awesome. People watching on Facebook, awesome. Twitter, but YouTube, you're killing it with the comments. I might have to shut down the comments in a second because we might have to get out of here. Let's see. Hyatt will go in the first round. I think Hyatt's trending towards the first round. 27 for Hyatt. I'm on board. I'm on board with that. PFF, fix your draft simulator. Stop letting me take Jalen Hyatt in the second round.
Getting your hopes up, aren't you?
What?
Getting your hopes up. That's why.
That's what I'm saying. Stop doing it. Stop doing it. Parker Washington, best wide receiver in the draft. Parker Washington's a guy, third or fourth round, I think you can go get from Penn State. Not as explosive as some of the
wide receiver in the draft.
Hey,
Kenny. I love it. Bring the heat, baby.
John's okay with Paris Campbell. You okay with Paris Campbell if the Bills do that?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm cool with that because he'll be like $4 million.
I mean, I'd be more happy. Like I said, I'm going to keep just slamming the table for Bobby Tree's reunion because I love Robert Woods.
Are we really getting a second round pick for Ed Oliver?
I mean,
No, I don't think so. Third. If somebody came to me right now, third round pick for Ed Oliver, I would. Where can I sign? I don't think we get a second round pick for Ed Oliver.
You never know. There's greedy teams out there, though.
You think we get a second round pick for Ed Oliver with a guy who's a free agent after next year?
No, but stranger things have happened, man. I mean, look at what the Broncos did, giving up 97 first-round picks and half of the state to get Russell Wilson and Sean Payton. Mind you, I know that's a coach and quarterback, but still.
That's true. I think third-round pick for Ed Oliver would be awesome. I'd be shocked if we got a second.
Yeah.
I agree. Terrible pick in the first round, Bijan. Not because how good of a player he can be.
Just know that this is going to get 100 times worse as we're getting closer to April. The Bijan Robinson to Buffalo in the first. Get ready for the edit. Get ready for everyone. Like, it's going to happen. It's going to happen
Tom McShay keeps mocking people, running backs.
Everyone, every year, it gets Bills Mafia riled up.
It's insane.
Running back in round one, baby.
There isn't a middle linebacker worth the first round pick this year. Probably not. Trent, there really isn't. This is not a middle linebacker class. Second round, Trenton Simpson, Drew Sanders, those type of guys, sure. Henry Tololo, Jack Campbell, Mike Jones, those type of guys. Yeah, after that, it gets really bad. My girlfriend Jennifer's coming in. Best show. Thank you. Keith's coming in. Edmunds has to stay.
Welcome, Keith. You can stay. Peter's not going to be fired up. Just don't bring up sacks or interceptions, and you'll be all right.
Johnny never gave us what his number was.
He'll be back.
Will he?
Yeah.
Okay. Hell no, don't take a running back round one. Thank you, Matt.
Thanks, Matt. Appreciate it.
Number one, first round pick needs to be a tall receiver or trade it with players for one or two. Whoa. There's a lot of numbers going on in this thing. Yeah.
Oh, I get it. Yeah.
1 or 2 receiver, then offensive line, 2, 3, maybe around 4. Okay, yeah, that works for me. Your girlfriend better say it's the best show. Thank you, bro. I appreciate it. Okay, we might have to end this here because I think we could keep going all night. And everybody on YouTube, I know have been awesome because YouTube's been I wouldn't say quote unquote down, but it's a brand new YouTube channel. And the comments, I've never seen this much on YouTube. Comments are awesome. Facebook, you guys always kill it. Always kill it. Twitter, all that fun stuff. We never got to, I'm going to rapid fire. Dane Jackson, Jordan Phillips, Shaq Lawson. Dane Jackson, is he back next year, yes or no?
Yes.
I agree, yes. Jordan Phillips, is he back next year, yes or no?
Yes.
I say no. Shaq Lawson, is he back next year, yes or no?
No.
I say yes. And I don't want to get down this rabbit hole because if I start bringing up Dane Jackson, oh my God, the rabbit hole. I think Dane Jackson will be awesome next year if he's the third corner and doesn't take snaps from Kyrie Long.
Agreed.
Thank you, Kenny. I appreciate it. If you guys missed this episode, missed this show, you can always rewatch it on Facebook, on YouTube, and Twitter. You can always re-comment if you want. So that is awesome. If you prefer the podcast version has been killing it lately. Apple Podcasts or Spotify. It will come out tomorrow morning on podcast version. And we'll be back next Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern. Adam, where can everyone find your social media, what you write about for the Bills, all that fun stuff?
So, yeah, you can find me on Twitter at PrimetimeAdam or at AdamZintek3 for all my lukewarm Bills takes. And then you can find me at a2zsports.com/Buffalo. We have a large number of very talented writers across all of the sports teams for the NFL. So super exciting news coming there. There's some big things coming for A to Z Sports. Make sure you're checking me out there. Just look for my name, Adam Zintek, on a2zsports.com/Buffalo to find everything that I've written for them and all my wonderful lukewarm takes.
Guys, shout out to everybody that was in the comment section tonight. If I agreed or disagreed with you, if Adam agreed or disagreed with you, awesome. YouTube killed it. Facebook killed it. Comment section was absolutely blowing up tonight. It got to a point where there was too many comments, which is an awesome thing. So keep it coming next Wednesday, 7 p.m. Eastern. It would actually be a pre-recorded show, so I won't be live reading comments, but feel free to comment, support it. Then I'm going on vacation for spring break because I'm a college student, so I'll miss the following Wednesday. And then after that, we got a whole new Buffalo Blitz like you've never seen before. It's going to be awesome. We got great things coming for you guys. So Keith, thank you. Appreciate it. Appreciate it as well on YouTube. Everyone that was awesome tonight. If you missed this, rewatch on Facebook and YouTube. Follow me on Twitter at DiBiasePeter. And this was the Buffalo Blitz on the Built in Buffalo Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter network. I'll be back next week. And as always, go Bills.
Go Bills, baby.